All right. Hello once again, back for episode 3, I think, of Keeping It Local, except we're expanding a little bit and going down south to a former local Kings Parker who is now in Hubert, North Carolina, what we know as Eastern North Carolina. And I'm here with Cassie Buttgereit. What's up, Cass?
Hey John, good to see you. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How you doing?
I'm living it up down here, living it up in North Carolina.
There's so many reasons why I want to be jealous right now. Like North Carolina sounds pretty good. Like I saw your video the other day of you cleaning the pool in November and got a little jealous there. I was like, "Oh, come on. Really?" Like
Yeah, it's not quite pool weather. However, something really cool about down here is I don't winterize my pool. So you're a pool owner as well, right?
yes, yes, we have an in-ground and it's a winterization, the whole thing. It's a pain.
Yeah, so I don't winterize at all. I run the filter a little bit less. I obviously have to scoop it, here and there to get some leaves out, but it pretty much stays clear the whole winter. And when the first warm day comes, I'm ready.
So you don't cover it either. It's just ready to go.
Yeah, yeah.
Ugh.
I mean, it really doesn't freeze down here. I haven't seen snow in years. So, why take all the time and the extra expense to go through it? So it's just one less headache that I don't have to worry about down here.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, well, and you said so we said before, formerly from Kings Park. Kings Park, right? You were from Kings Park, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and now when did you move down to North Carolina?
I moved in September of 2012. So
Whoa.
um 11 years. Yeah, 11 years down here
Whoa.
now.
That's
Yeah.
crazy. I did not realize it was that long.
Time flies when we're having fun, right?
Yeah, but that's like I don't know why. I didn't think it was that long ago that you and Bill moved down there, which is crazy. Um, but now keeping in theme with the show, I'm calling it a show like I'm a freaking host.
No doubt.
So funny. But keeping in theme with it, this is all about just like local business and propping up local businesses and supporting local businesses. And I'm still considering you local because I could send you business from here to there. Um,
Yeah.
so, what is it like jumping in? So Cassie is a real estate agent. She's a newer agent. How long have you been in the business now?
This is my first year.
This is your
2023 is my first year.
first year in the business. So what is it like? I guess you haven't been in a new place because now that's basically home. You've been there for almost half your life, I feel like at this
Yeah.
point. But what's it like jumping into a brand new business in a location that is not quote unquote like home?
Yeah. So, one thing I think that's important about my transition into real estate was that I worked from home in North Carolina for 10 of my 11 years.
Wow.
So, when it comes to really, kind of diving into my community and building that sphere, the question is, well, how do you do it? So, that's been a difference for me this year is getting out of my comfort zone and having to get out of these four walls and go really see my community from a different lens. So that's pretty much like my whole year of what I've been doing is just getting out there.
So give me some like gritty details. What are you doing to get out there in the community to meet people? Because to me, that's the best way, honestly, for any businesses to be out and about and meeting people, interacting, networking. But so what are you doing to get out there and see your community in a different lens?
Yeah, so honestly, I'm out here having fun. There's a whole lot of ways to look at real estate, building a business, and of course being a part of your community. But in North Carolina, there's literally so much to do. And I'm out here doing all of it. I'm going to our parks, I'm exploring, I'm visiting local businesses, I'm, interacting on Facebook and making new friends through Facebook, and then, meeting them in person, which maybe not everyone recommends, right? We're always told to be cautious of strangers on the internet, but we're strangers on the internet, right?
Yeah,
but
essentially, right?
but I'm out here every single day intentionally, and it's connected me to a lot of really great people, a lot of great places. I've worked with a couple nonprofits in North Carolina. Those have been really great connections just to be part of something bigger. At the end of the day, it really comes down to building authentic relationships, and that's the part I think that I've enjoyed the most. And a lot of that brings back to New York too,
Mhm.
because North Carolina is a hot spot. I don't know if you know, but Forbes recently came out with an article, and we are the fourth top state that people are coming to. People are
Mm.
coming North Carolina. We're number 4 out of 10, according to Forbes. So people from New York, those relationships that I've formed in the past, I'm finding a lot more people are down here too. And I'm able to reconnect with people from my past, which has been really cool.
That is pretty cool. There's got to be a niche there too, for people who are coming from New York and then coming to see you. I feel like if I was relocating per se, as vast of a network of agents that I have, being an agent myself, I would probably want to connect with somebody that is from here and relocated down there and understands the whole process. So you've kind of been through that whole ordeal already.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's something that I do focus on with a lot of clients is I do work with people that are coming from out of state. So something unique about my area as well is I am in a military town. So I'm outside of Camp Lejeune, Jacksonville, North Carolina. So by default, we have a very diverse community. We have people from all over the United States that are coming to this area, often for military orders. But on top of that, it's a fun spot. We're right along the coast, we're along the beach, we have great weather. So we have a big mix of people that are coming to this area. But a lot of the people that I do work with are relocating out of state. And personally, I know that can be scary. How do you make it all happen? How do you line up a job? How do you make sure the home that you're getting into is the right one for you? There's a lot of pieces that go into it. I do a lot of virtual tours, which is really fun. So
interesting.
Yeah, so connecting with people in that sense of you want to see a house, but you're miles away in another state. Let's look at the entire home, inside, outside, up, down. Let's look at the shed, whatever it is, and helping people find their home from far. So that's been a big thing for me.
That's pretty cool, because that's a certain level of trust in you to do that. Because I mean, in some ways, like, yeah, you get the virtual tour look online, but now they're asking you to go there. And I feel like, in a sense, they're really asking you for your opinion and trusting your judgment a lot more than just looking at the pictures online, because now they're asking you to go there and potentially put in an offer and get a deal done for them. So they're obviously putting a lot of trust in you, which says a lot about what you're doing already as a new person in the business, that you have people from out of state who are trusting you with this process. Because that's really scary. I mean, obviously there was a period of time where everybody was doing this because we had to, but now the only reason why you would do this is if you had to. And in order to have full trust in somebody, I think that's a credit to you and what you've done so far, that you could get clients who I'm assuming you don't know either. They're just reaching out, leads from the brokerage, and they're trusting you and your expertise already. So that's great. Well done.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate that. And it's funny that you do mention how that's happened before, right? COVID really shifted the entire way that people bought and sold homes for a while. And I think that has carried over into today's market. So I think people, do have that trust, and they're willing to take that leap. And you mentioned pictures online as well. I think that's always something to be mindful of. Pictures only tell half the story, right? That's why it is important to get out and tour homes as often as you can. Sometimes those pictures can be like a Tinder profile, right? Like perhaps a little misleading. You never really know.
Did you say Tinder because I'm older? Like, is that because from what now? Oh, wow. All right. This is borderline age discrimination, Cassie. Okay. No, it's funny because I forget how much younger you are than me, but I'm 40 now. And, a lot of the clients that I'm working with, especially the buyers, are on the younger side, like very early 30s, even late 20s. And 90% of them, like, how'd you guys meet? And they're like, oh, Hinge, this or that. I'm like, I didn't even know what that was. Like, it's just such a different world. So I appreciate you saying Match.com. Thanks. It brought me back.
Yes, no doubt, no doubt. But that's the reality, of shopping for homes on the internet is, we still do need to do our due diligence, get out there, see what these experiences are really like. But moving from out of state, that's not always possible, So thank goodness for technology. It really has changed the way that we can connect with people and still get the job done.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many. I'm sure that you probably have a big checklist of items that you do now when you're working with these clients, because I'm sure you're feeling it. I think the thing that I felt immediately right away with real estate, it's like invigorating, it's fun, it's challenging. in a good way. You're negotiating, you're arguing, like it's all things that I thrive off of.
Right,
Um,
right.
but at the same time, you're also dealing with a super emotional transaction a lot of times because it's very emotional for both sides, for sellers and buyers. And there's so
Yeah.
many things that you have to navigate. So I kind of forgot where I was going with this, honestly, such a bad host. No, but like, having to navigate those emotional roller coasters, especially from a distance, is another thing that, I feel like I'm sure at some point the weight has set in on you a little bit of the severity of these transactions and how much they mean to people. It's not like you see on TV, obviously, like nothing ever is. It's not like, oh yeah, we go and show the home, blah, 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 and everybody's happy. Like that's complete
Right.
nonsense. Like you're dealing with the biggest transaction that anybody is ever going to make. And
Yep.
you have to treat that as such. You have to treat it like a child pretty much and coddle it and take care of it, make sure it goes through.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely right. And again, I think that the reason that I feel comfortable with it is because I've done it myself. I've taken that leap, and I did it when I was young. I
Mhm.
moved to North Carolina a month after my 20th birthday.
Wow.
So I am 31 now. So I like you said, I did a lot of my growing up down here, really getting into the adult world and figuring out how to do everything. So, I had to make that transition at a young age and leave everything behind.
Mhm.
And I understand that that's an emotional experience for anyone, no matter, if it's your first time purchasing a home, if you're coming here to retire, whatever the case is, it's a big decision. So trying to find someone to make that happen for you, it's an important connection to make. And it's really great, in a case like ours where you're up in New York, I'm down here. If you knew someone who was coming down this way, you can say, hey, I have someone down here that I trust, that can
Yeah.
help you navigate this new world. And the same here, I have people that are relocating all over, and people do go up to New York as well. New York is not off limits for us down here, being in the middle. So, we have people all over. And it's great to have that connection to on our end where I can say, hey, I know someone up in New York that I trust that can help you navigate this journey because it's hard.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like you have to trust somebody. Like I would never, you'd want to be so confident in referring anybody to anybody, and I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm personally a person that loves giving referrals. Like I love referring good people. I feel like when I meet someone that's
Yeah.
good, I'm like, I want to like shout them from the rooftops, which is kind of why I started this whole keeping it local thing. It all makes
Yeah.
sense. Now that we're diving into my psychology, which is a scary place. But like, it's you're so right. Like it's so much trust involved. But yeah, people go everywhere, and it's just having that network is huge. And I feel like what was the point where you were like real estate? Like, how did
Yeah.
that happen?
Yeah. So really it was again my own personal journey. You're renting, and you're like, okay, it's time to buy a house. I did buy my first house in 2019, early 2019. Ended up selling that home and then building a new construction home. But when I first started that little clicking on Zillow journey, just kind of seeing what was in my community, I was like, this is awesome. When I started to tour homes, I was like, this is so fun. Look what is out there. And of course, the actual person that I worked with made all the difference.
Mhm.
That really helped me see that there was someone who was passionate, caring, patient, everything that I would want in someone helping me buy and sell a home. So I was like, I want that. I want to help people find what they're looking for. I want to, connect people to their forever home or vice versa. If someone needs to relocate, I want to be able to support that journey for them too. So it really just came from my own personal experience of buying and selling.
Yeah, I feel like that's a lot for it. Like I was kind of the same way. Personal experience. I was like, I want to do this, and for me, it was I love the puzzle piece of it. Like I love the
Yeah.
matchmaking idea of it, and like you're you're figuring out like okay, like they want boom, 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 and then for buyers, it's I like the puzzle piecing of the buyers because the buyers you
Sure.
got to figure out. All right, like they want this, and then I love when we get to that point in a relationship where they know I'm not in it for a sale. They know I'm in it for their
Right.
best interest. And that's when you could really start guiding as opposed to just showing, right? Because we could
Right.
show houses all day. And that's where I think sometimes, like, yeah, you get them into the house, but that's people have a misconception that, oh, all agents do is unlock the door for you. And it's like, no, what you start doing at some point is I try and provide an alternative, especially in a market like your market's hot, our market is hot,
Yeah.
still inventory super tight. There's nothing. So it's like, okay, how can we think outside of the box? So we'll walk through a
Yeah.
house and I'll, maybe make a suggestion like, hey, listen, we have an extra room here. We got a 10 by 10 room. We got an extra 100 square feet. It's not being used as a bedroom. Um, let's make a plan. Let's turn this into a bedroom. Let's refi in 2 years. Rates should be down by then or a year and a half, whenever, but let's add $50,000 worth of value for doing $10,000 worth of renovation or less, refi, get that down, get your monthly, and start to think
Yeah.
out of the box. And that's when people are like, oh, okay, like now I see why I should use an agent.
Yeah. True.
Because
And even my own
no, go ahead.
personal,
Yeah, sorry.
I felt that too. You'd go into homes sometimes, and as a buyer, you can't always see the vision. And you sometimes can't see, even when a home, it still has someone's belongings in it, right?
Mhm.
That can be really hard to envision yourself living there. But working with an agent can help bridge that gap because they've been experienced in these homes, seeing changes, all of that. So when you're working with an agent, they can absolutely help you see the vision of what the home can potentially be for you, and how that can potentially be your dream home. Not to push something on you that's not a right fit, but to help you see other avenues, like you were saying.
Right. Yeah. Cause that's the thing. Like sometimes things don't appear as the right fit. And then all of a sudden with a little bit of thinking beyond what you're seeing, there's possibilities there that could be tapped into, which could be the make or break of getting a deal.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think even with new construction, that's something I've been seeing a lot more of lately. That's a really interesting journey, right? We're talking turning dirt into someone's home. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
trying to navigate, hey, here's the piece of paper. This is what your house is going to look like in the end. That too is a big trust factor. But helping someone navigate that journey from start to finish is super fulfilling, and I've loved that experience. And again, I went through it myself, so it really helped to see what is that like, and help build that connection properly.
Yeah. Which is kind of crazy because your story is kind of similar to mine in real estate, where you did immediately two things that a lot of agents don't have experience with. And number one, that's actually relocating. And number
Right.
two is new construction. There are a lot of agents who, I shouldn't say a lot of agents. I'm speaking in generalities here, but it's not the typical path that a lot of agents work in or have the opportunity to work in because there's not a lot of new construction on Long Island. So
Right. Right.
it's not an area that's, there are certain agents that do a lot of new construction and they do their own construction and they're the ones killing it. But for the
Yeah.
most part, we're not getting a ton of new construction. So that's not a large area of experience for a lot of agents here. But so you have that experience and you have the personal relocation experience. So you've seen two things that are not typical.
Right, right. And honestly, they're very common for down here. Like I mentioned earlier, our state, our area is growing. People are coming from all over here.
Yeah.
And when I first moved here 11 years ago, it was very rural. There was a lot of trees around. You did have to drive 30 minutes to some of the places you wanted to go. But I mean, everything's popping up now. We have Starbucks everywhere. We have,
The
Bojangles corner. We're really growing. But there's a
sign of
lot
true
of
development, Starbucks.
I know, I know, it's so true. When there's a Starbucks and a Dunkin' across from each other, you've made it.
They've that competition for the real estate. That's what
Yes,
that shows.
absolutely, absolutely. But yeah, it's a growing community down here. So we're seeing all kinds of different new construction, and at different price points too, which I think is helpful because the idea of new construction sometimes can be overwhelming or feel unattainable, and that's not really true. So
Right.
that's been an experience to open up to people.
That's awesome. So I want to just rack your brain a little bit here about um being a new into this business, being new into real estate, especially it's a tough market. Obviously, everybody knows about it, that everybody's talking about that. But what is it like jumping into give me some advice. Let me rephrase this question and I'm going to just stop myself right here and just start over. So, what is it like jumping into a new business, give me like 3 things that are great about it, 3 things that are bad about it, or one-on-one, whatever you want to do. But give me the good, the bad, and the ugly about starting in a brand new business, to something that people want experience with, because real estate is something that people could get, it is their nest egg. That's the way we promote ourselves with our team here, is like, and we do believe that, not just promote ourselves, that this is the nest egg. This is what most people are using for their retirement. So give me like the best parts, the worst parts, advice for anybody who's looking to jump into something new that you could tell us.
Yeah, so I think the first thing is going to be to make sure that you have a strong support system. Like you said, it's not an easy market, but this is all that I know, right? So, you see people who have been successful in the past, and what was going on 2, 3 years ago is not how things are today. So make sure you have a strong support system, and consider, what is my day-to-day going to be like, and how am I going to stay motivated? Don't give up, because yeah, there's going to be tough days, but I would say there's going to be tough days no matter what you do. So if you're doing a 9 to 5, if you're starting your own business, whatever that is, there's going to be hard days. So make sure you still have that internal motivation. As far as the good, like I said earlier when we kind of started off, it's been a huge personal journey for me, and I'm loving that piece, to where I'm able to get out of my community and constantly be connecting with new people. Even in this case here, like I mentioned earlier as well, being able to reconnect with people that I haven't talked to in many years, whether it's through the internet or face to face, what have you. I think the overall good is that it's been a great personal journey for me too, because I've really made a lot of great friends, even in my brokerage. I've connected with a lot of people that I probably wouldn't have otherwise. I mean, how many people in real estate do you become friends with if you're not in real estate, right?
Right. Yeah.
There's only so many agents that you would need in your life, unless you're doing investments or what have you. But overall, I think it's been a great experience for me, even with a challenging market. In my eyes, it's just building me up for what the future does have. And even if it's like this forever, which of course we hope it's not, you learn to, it becomes your new normal, whatever that is. So for
Right.
me, it's experience even on the hard days.
And I feel like, just from talking to you, it sounds like you're loving what you're doing on a day to day, which I'm sure is radiating out and pulling people into you and being like, oh, look at this young lady, Cassie. She's so wonderful. She's so happy. She's helping in the community. She's doing non for profit. She's having a good time. And I'm sure that energy is just creating positive experiences and interactions with everybody, which is actually making people just want to work with you.
I hope that would be the case. What I do is, it's an authentic experience. I'm out here to truly connect people and not just make a sale.
Right.
Like I said, I did it myself, and when I was seeking out to start buying my own home, I did my research. I looked around and saw who is out there in their community, who knows what they're doing, who knows what I'm about to get into. And I was lucky enough to find that person. They helped guide me through my journey, and I want to be that for other people. So, when I'm out there meeting people on my own and enjoying what I do, I'm hopeful that it will connect the right people to me, who want to dive on that same journey. Because I think, moving, starting over, all of that stuff, it's scary. But
Yeah.
if you're willing to put yourself out there, the right people will come to you.
Yeah, 100%. Totally agree. Cause I mean, like you said, you're doing what you enjoy, and you're going to be around people who enjoy the same thing. And they're going to you want to work with people who you connect with at some point.
Sure,
Um,
sure.
and now, so you did your research. How much research did you do before, joining McDonald Realty Group?
Yeah, so it's funny that we bring up McDonald Realty Group, because I did share, when I started my home buying process, there was someone that I connected with, someone that I did my research on, and she is now my broker in charge.
Okay,
So
I was going to ask that, but I didn't want to in case she wasn't. So obviously,
yeah,
we don't do a lot of background research here before we talk. So I was like, oh shit, like shit, is it the person, or did she ditch that person and go with another broker?
yeah. Nope, it's that person. So back in 2018, right after Billy and I got married, we said, okay, let's do it by the book. Let's go buy a home now. So I started looking out in the community, who's out there. How do you even find someone to work with?
Right.
there was Melanie McDonald. She was all over social media. She looked really happy, positive, and looked like someone I could connect with. So I reached out to her, and we ended up buying our home with her, selling our home with her, and then building our new construction with her. And I watched her journey for years, and I saw how she was a pillar in our community, and how she did connect people to their homes, how she did support sellers on their journey. And I was like, I want to do that. I want to be just like her, because she's someone that, her experience resonates with me. So when it came time to considering actually getting my license, she was the only person I sent a text message to. I kept it a secret from everyone. It was just one of those things. I was like, I'm just gonna go for it and see what happens. So until I actually got licensed, I didn't share it with anyone in my circle, but I did tell her, hey, I'm gonna do it. So that was, what ultimately brought me to McDonald Realty Group. But I think a little bit of a fun fact here. This Friday, which is Black Friday, is our 2-year anniversary of McDonald Realty Group. So she's been in real estate for several years. However, she started her own brokerage 2 years ago on Black Friday. So almost celebrating her birthday.
Oh, awesome. That's great.
Yeah.
And so I'm sure, but how supportive and helpful was she when you told her, like, I'm getting my license and I want to join up with you?
Yeah, she was my biggest fan, and she still is my biggest fan. I have a lot of appreciation for Melanie. But when I sent her that text message, she was so excited. She met up with me for breakfast. We talked about everything, and she said, "Whatever you want to do, I support you. I'm here if you'd like to take this journey with me." But she was open to really whatever. And I have to say, of course, joining this brokerage, I wouldn't think twice about doing anything else. The overall mentorship, support, even from my peers, everyone there, we truly are kind, collaborative, and driven. That's what we do. And I really, feel like everyone there has my back. It's not, pure competition all the time. We really do look out for each other's best interests. And I continue to learn something new every single day. And I couldn't ask for anything else, entering into real estate for my first year.
It's huge, honestly. I've been with a few brokerages now. I love the first brokerage I was with. And just kind of moved on to see what, bigger brokerages were like and get that experience. And ultimately, had a pit stop along the way. Won't talk about that. And wound up at Signature. And it's kind of the same experience. Now, the Signature is a massive brokerage. I believe we
Yeah.
have like 1,400 agents at this point. Like, they've just grown and grown and grown. But the level of support that they provide and the culture within the company is really so similar to that. Like, everybody's very supportive. No one knocks each other down. People are obviously competitive, but it's not
Right.
like trying to steal each other's business and everything. It's just like, we can put out a company email. If I couldn't do a showing tomorrow, I would literally just put out an email like, hey, can anybody cover a showing in Comac tomorrow? And you'll get 10 responses within 5 minutes, people willing to do a cover stuff for you, which is super helpful. Like, the brokerage I was at before that, not so much. You were not going to be sending out an email for someone to cover your stuff,
Yeah.
and the brokers too, the amount that they do is just incredible. I mean, we had Tom Ferry speak to our brokerage.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. That's
Yeah,
really
like, yeah, they hired him to come and talk to us for 3.5 hours. And I
wow.
was just like, he's one of the biggest names in real estate. And for your
Yeah.
brokerage to say, hey, we're going to bring him in,
Yeah.
is special. So yeah, and they are so supportive of everything we do as agents. And they're just saying, like, go and be yourself, which is huge, because again, you're being yourself, you're going out there, you're connecting, you're meeting people, and it's planting seeds, and it's ultimately going to make people want to work with you for the right reasons. And
Yeah. Yeah.
that's what it's all about.
No, I totally agree with that. And I mentioned earlier, kind of knowing what to do on the hard days, right? And making sure that you have that motivation at all times. If
Mhm.
there's a day that I feel like it is just not my best day, what should I do? What can I be doing? I can easily turn to my brokerage, and any person will pick up their phone for me. And they'll say, let's talk it out. Why don't you go try this? Have you considered doing this differently? Anyone that I need is there for me. And some of them have been in real estate for plenty of years. Some of them are on the newer side like me. I think even having that diverse stretch of time really tells a lot too, because in your early days, it can be like, well, we're all on the new side of things, we're all doing it this way. And like video, for example, not everyone's doing podcasts, right? But that's one way to do your business, but you can also turn to other people to learn other ways to do your business. So I like having that big group of people that I can lean on in any way, shape, or form. And even on my hard days or days that I don't want to do it, I can look and see someone there who truly does inspire me. And I'm like, I'm going to go do that too. I'm going to get up today and I'm going to hop on social media, or I'm going to go, push myself to meet someone new, because you got to stay motivated. And I'm lucky to be surrounded by people that help me stay motivated.
Yeah, that's huge to have that support system, and it's also kind of, saying it without saying it, it's accountability too. Like you're holding each other accountable in a sense, in a positive, reinforced way of like, look, do this or try this. Which again, for growing, because essentially you are growing your own business, you're creating your own business, you're creating your own sphere.
Yeah.
And in order to do that, you have to have accountability partners as well, which it sounds like you're getting everything you need and more at McDonald's, which is awesome.
Yeah. I'm grateful to be part of, the overall community that they're in. We are centered, of course, in Jacksonville, North Carolina. So I'm based out of Hubert, so I'm about 30 minutes from there. I do spend a lot of my time in Jacksonville. That also is where Camp Lejeune is. So Jacksonville is the center point where a lot of my clients are based out of. So, just being able to be in the center of our community, be known by our community, and be affiliated with McDonald Realty Group, I really couldn't ask for anything more. I've loved the experience so far and looking forward to what the future has for me.
That's awesome. All right. Well, listen, it's been great chatting with you.
Yes, likewise.
What I'm going to say now is anybody who's on Long Island or in New York or anywhere who sees this, who knows, someone anywhere in the country could see it. If you are looking to go to Eastern North Carolina, Hubert, North Carolina, or near Jacksonville, you should probably give Cassie a ring. I'm going to put I'll put your contact info in the notes here, Cass, so anyone can get in touch with you that's thinking about making a move, which I'm sure there are, young and old and everything in between, probably looking to go down south at this point. But you're a bright budding star, Cassie. I think you got a lot of great things going for you. So
Awesome.
looking forward to seeing you blow up in North Carolina and become the monster agent down there.
That's the plan. And of course, John, I appreciate your time as well. For my North Carolina friends or friends down south that may be watching, I too am going to be recommending John if you're considering moving up to Long Island, New York, exploring that area. He's our hometown favorite, right? So if that way, make sure you hit up John Garcia for all your real estate needs.
Hey, thanks. I never left. It's just stayed right here. Live around the block from where I grew up. Oh my goodness.
How you do it.
Hey, listen, there's no wrong way. It's only the way you want to do it.
That's right. I love that.
Yeah. All right. Well, Cassie, thanks again for coming on. This has been great. And we will talk soon.
Appreciate it, John. Thanks again for your time.
No problem.